One of my favorite things to do is to play in the backyard with the grandkids. And our 4-year-old granddaughter right now is really into swinging. And she's at that point where she can't swing fully by herself. Like you still have to pull her or push her really hard. And she's just starting to pump her legs. But you know that like pull them all the way back, release, and get that really big flow of momentum going. And then you stand there and slowly push them. Well, of course, when we're playing on the swing, the dog has to play as well. So we love to throw the ball for the dog. And so the other day I was out playing in the backyard with my granddaughter. I did the big launch and she's swinging really high. She's like, "Ooh, look how high I am." And so I go and I start throwing the ball for the dog. And a couple minutes later, I look back and I'm thinking, wow, like she was going so high and now she's barely moving. And she was like slowly moving momentum. It was just kind of slowly dying down. And
Okay.
the momentum was just going down. And I remember thinking in my head, like, how is she going so slow now? She was going so fast and so high, and now she's going so slow. But that's kind of what happens with marriages a lot of
Mhm.
times, the momentum of what happens in a marriage a lot of
Yeah.
times.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Simply Relational. We're your hosts. My wife, Dr. Shelley Krager. I'm Darren Krager. And Simply Relational is a podcast on elevating marriages and equipping parents. And that's what we do. So, been doing this for a couple months now,
Yep.
and we're into it. But
Yeah.
so to go forward, last week we talked about the drift,
Hmm.
how
Yeah.
marriages drift, and what does that really look like? But the biggest question is I want to ask, or we want to ask, is how do you keep your marriage moving forward? How do you keep the
Yeah.
momentum?
Yeah. Yeah. So last week, on last week's episode, if you didn't listen to it, I encourage you to go back and listen to it.
Mhm.
Last week we were talking about the four warning signs of what that drift looks
Yeah.
like, where you stop pursuing, you stop talking, you stop noticing, you stop repairing. And we talked about that those aren't signs meaning that your marriage is falling apart, but they are warning signs, kind of like a check engine light on your car. They're warning signs that if these things are happening, momentum's
Yeah.
going down. It's kind of like the swing.
Yeah.
You're not going as high, and pretty soon you're going to come to a
Yeah.
stop.
You don't get the check engine light fixed. I mean, yeah, something in the motor's going to die.
Yeah, yeah. So today we're going to continue on and answer that question. So what do you do when that's happening? What if you're noticing those warning signs? So we're going to talk about 5 rhythms today
Okay.
that you can
Sounds good.
specifically put into play. So
Okay.
rhythm number one, pursue each other daily.
Hmm.
This first rhythm kind of aligns with last week when we talked about don't just do a date night, live a
Mhm.
dating life. That's
Yes.
what this really
Yeah.
means. You think about when you're dating, all of these things that you do to pursue each other, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you get married, and sometimes it's like, boom,
Yeah.
they all stop.
Yeah. Well, so when you pursue each other, you're getting to know each other and you're trying to have fun with each other.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, later on years, we see so many couples that we're not pursuing each
Yeah.
other and we're not having fun,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. We're going to talk about that one in a minute. So we really want to focus on don't live for the date night, live the dating life. And when I think about this, like all those things that crowd that pursuing out, obviously when you have kids and now they're running your schedule and you've got all these bills that you're paying and you've got a job that you're going to and you come home and you're dead tired, it's hard to pursue
Oh
sometimes.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But when
Absolutely.
you're dating, you're very intentional about
Hmm.
it. And I guess what we're saying today is be as intentional about your marriage as you were about your dating.
Yeah, I mean, when you were dating, you didn't
Hmm.
matter. It didn't matter if you were tired or not. Your focus was fully on the
Yeah.
other person.
Yeah.
So here's a challenge.
Hmm.
Every morning this week, ask yourself, what's one thing I can do that reminds my spouse they're loved?
Oh, that's
What's one
good.
thing?
Yeah.
Just one thing we're asking this week.
Yeah. So when I think about that question, some of the ideas that I would give you, that's something that you and I intentionally try and ask. And I think about one of the things you intentionally do that shows me every day that you love me and that you're intentionally pursuing me is
Mm,
I can almost guarantee when I get up, by the time I get out of bed and I make it to the bathroom,
mm.
you've already got a cup of coffee that you're handing me. You're very intentional
Oh, yeah.
about making sure that you take care of me in that way and that you show me I love you so much. I thought about making you this coffee.
Yeah, 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 yeah. There's what you do that really helps me throughout the day, and women are definitely better at this than men, I think. But what you do for me is you give me multiple texts throughout the day. I
Mm,
mean, you are one busy lady,
mm,
being a principal in a gigantic private Christian school, but yet you still take those moments just to send me a text of, I'm thinking about you. How are you doing?
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so,
Because it's important. You are on my
yeah,
mind.
when you come home from work, I usually beat you home because you just have very long days. But even when you're tired, I mean, you have a beeline to me and you give me a hug and
Mm.
kiss and just saying, I love you. And how was your day?
Yeah.
So you're always
Yeah.
showing me that constantly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, other ideas and things you can do. Another thing that I think about that you do that's a great idea is there's many times I'll go out into my car in the morning. And this isn't just a one-time thing. This is multiple times that this has happened where I'll go out to my car and I'll go to sit down and on the steering wheel, you've put a little note like,
yeah.
hey, praying for you today, or have a great day, or love you. Just a simple little note. I mean, these are things that don't cost a lot of
No.
money, but they're things that really show the other person that you
Yeah.
love them, that you're thinking about them. I think about when we go the other day, we were at the grocery store and we're walking in and we're holding hands. And I remember looking around and thinking, I don't really know that I can tell who's together
Who's
and
married or
who's
not?
not.
Yeah.
You can tell who's dating.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. But it's a big deal. I mean, from married couples to even older couples. Actually, I'd say that I see a lot of older couples
That's
that
true.
just that grab each
Yeah.
other's hands
Yeah.
because they've
Sweet.
matured in their relationship.
Hmm.
But we see so many times and not couples stop holding hands.
Hmm.
They will put the children between them, and then all of a sudden one parent's on one side and the other parent's on the other side or whatever. But it is
Yeah.
a big deal. Put your arm around your wife, men. Come on,
Yeah.
let the other men know this is my wife. I
Yeah.
love her,
Yes.
vice versa.
Yeah. So pursue, actively
Pursuit.
pursue each
Yeah.
other. Act like you shouldn't be able to tell that you're married versus dating.
Yes.
I mean, it really should be your married life should continue on your
Yeah.
dating
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Married
So,
life.
yeah.
That's
So
right.
that's rhythm number one.
Yeah.
Rhythm number two, protect meaningful conversations. Most people, I think most couples, if we ask them, do you guys communicate? A lot of them will say, well, yeah, we communicate.
Communicate.
But there's a difference between communicating all day and just sharing information that doesn't require
Yeah.
anything about each other. Like,
Yeah.
did you pick up the kids? What's for dinner tonight? Did you pay the electric bill? How
Mm.
much was the bill?
Yeah.
Those are not, I would not say that's communication. That's information.
That's just information flow.
Hmm.
And yeah, when you get to the point that it's just information flow, uh, we need to get a checkup.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So a simple strategy here is to really be intentional about having conversations that involve each other, that create a connection. Last week in the episode, we talked a little bit about how when we go to a restaurant and you'll see couples sitting there, and most of the time, if you look around, and I challenge you to do this, when you go to a restaurant, you'll see probably 90% of the couples that are in there,
Yeah.
both spouses are on their phone and they're not even conversing with
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
And so to be intentional about that, I encourage you to have intentional questions that you ask each other that build connection. These could be questions like, what made you smile today?
Yeah. 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 I
What
mean,
what was something that challenged you today?
mhm,
How can I pray for you?
mhm,
What's heavy on your heart
yeah.
today? What are your hopes and
Yeah,
dreams?
that's I was going to
Mhm.
say, talk about your dreams. Don't
Yeah.
ever give up on talking about dreams and
Mhm.
just things that you thought you wanted to do when you get older and stuff like that and
Yeah.
stuff. So keep pursuing, keep communicating, but make sure it's healthy communication. And
Yeah.
and a lot of times when the communication, stop talking about yourself. There's a big
Mm-hmm.
one.
Hmm.
People just talk about this. So this is my day. This is what happened to me, myself, and I. No, engage.
Yeah.
Talk about your spouse because when you hear your spouse
Hmm.
talking about you, it fills you. You talking about
Hmm.
her, she'll talk about you, and it's just enriching. It lets you know I care. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So that communication, be intentional about meaningful communication, not
Mm.
information exchange,
Yeah.
but connected communication.
Yeah.
It could be that those are questions. Maybe you have specific questions and you hang them on your refrigerator. Maybe you bring them to the dinner
Yeah.
table so that you can
Mhm.
talk about them. Maybe you put them on your phone so that you
Yeah.
can look at
Well,
your phone and
well,
ask those questions.
how about just the information part is just what you text,
Mm,
but then put the phone away and then have the meaningful
yeah,
the relational conversation. Remember,
yeah,
there's a podcast is simply relational.
yeah,
Make it relational.
yeah.
Here, look, I enjoy hearing your voice, sweetheart.
Mm.
And so I love having conversation with you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's rhythm number two.
Yeah.
Rhythm number three, this is a really important one.
Mm.
Repair before resentment builds.
Okay.
We talked a lot about last week that healthy marriages aren't the absence of
Mhm.
conflict. They become good at actually repairing conflict.
Mhm.
Like they know they're good repair agents, the healthy
Mhm.
marriages.
Mhm.
So one thing that we have definitely learned is that a hurt that isn't repaired today actually becomes the lens for tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
And so something that was a hurt today that we didn't deal with and that I just carried into tomorrow becomes the glasses that I start looking at every other situation
Yeah,
from.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. So resentment. We had a really good friend really get in depth on actually I think it was a sermon about resentment,
mhm,
and but resentment could actually really a lot of times is the seed of death and divorce
yeah,
in relationships
yeah,
because if you start resenting your spouse, it's just going to build on it more and more
mhm,
and more, and all you're starting to look to is, and we've talked about the lenses, like, looking through the lens of what's wrong with them
yeah,
instead of what's right.
mhm,
All you're going to do is see wrong, wrong, wrong.
yeah,
And so repair, get into the repair mode constantly. When there's one issue about, the resentment,
mhm,
start repair. So
yeah, yeah,
Paul gives us some incredible wisdom in Ephesians 26 and 27.
mhm,
That's Ephesians 4, 26 to 27. Don't let the sun go down while you are still angry.
mhm,
Goes on to say, anger gives a foothold to the devil. Um, we have taken this to heart.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
telling you, we have taken this to heart. When the sun goes down, we're literally talking about we are not going to go to sleep in heated battle.
mhm,
We are
mhm,
going to talk this out, pray about it. We're not going to go to sleep. We're not going to go to the next day
yeah,
harboring anger
yeah.
because that anger, guess what? It's going to go to resentment.
Yeah.
So,
I do want to preface real quick because I want to be realistic. It doesn't mean that we never go to sleep frustrated.
oh,
I
sure,
mean, what we're
sure.
saying is when you're in the heat of the moment, there's
Mhm.
steps that you need to take to make sure that you don't allow yourself to hit that pillow and let that grow and fester through the night.
Yes,
So,
exactly. Because when he's talking, because
mhm.
Satan comes in the night. I
Oh,
tell you what,
absolutely.
and he
Mhm.
loves it. Oh, he loves when we argue
Mhm.
and we don't resolve
Yeah.
an issue. And he is just it's an open door for him and the demons to come and attack
Yep.
you, and the
Yep.
resentment builds.
So to help
So,
prevent some of that and to help you with that process of not letting yourself get into that resentment mode, we talk a lot about there's 4 R's to a healthy repair.
hmm.
And so the first one is recognizing. And that recognizing means look at what you can own, not what your spouse owns. And I think, didn't we hear at one time, wasn't there a pastor once that told us something about a relationship isn't 50-50, it's actually 100 and 100?
Yeah,
And so we have to
yeah,
own 100% of what
yeah,
we own.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's not a 50-50. What's
yeah,
your part? What's my
yeah,
part? It's 100% me
yeah,
and 100%
yeah,
you.
yeah.
And so what do I own? What did I contribute to this?
Mm,
And how can I make the next step for me to help with the reconciliation, not what do you need to do?
yeah,
So
yeah. That's
recognize
good.
is the first
Recognize.
step. The second part is reassure, and this is a big one. I think this is a message I think that the world does a lot of damage in
Mm.
marriages on when couples are really frustrated with each other, and especially young couples, and they get into their first big conflict, and instantly the mindset starts coming in on, oh no, are we going to stay together? Are they going to leave me? Here's the thing: you and I can have conflict.
Mhm.
You can be really frustrated with me and I can be really frustrated with you,
Mhm.
but no matter how frustrated we get, we are locked arms and we are doing
Yeah,
this together and
yeah,
my love for you never
yeah,
changes.
yeah,
That's the way you have to walk through
yeah,
conflict with your spouse.
yeah,
You need to first of all recognize what your part is that you own, but you need to reassure and don't ever throw in words that would make your spouse believe that this one situation changes your relationship.
that's right. And because remember, the two shall be one. We talked about
Mhm.
that in Genesis. you're protecting the one,
Yeah.
and that's us. And so there's a lot of times with disagreements and arguments and stuff that all of a sudden we make it a two-person relationship. It
Mhm.
was actually, yeah, there's two people, but make it a one relation,
Yeah.
and keep it oneness. So
Yeah. Don't put conditions in the midst of
no
that
way,
conflict.
no way.
So the third one is to resolve. And this means that your focus is actually on working through the issue and not trying to fix each other.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Resolve doesn't happen when you're trying to fix another person. Resolve happens when you're focused on understanding what created the situation.
And it took me a long time
Mhm. Yeah,
to
we all battle that.
to learn that, and try not to solve their problems or
Yeah.
fix them,
Yeah.
It's like try to understand them, where they're coming from, the
Mhm.
situation, understand the conversation, the topic of the conversation, and then looking for real healthy resolve,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the final one is release.
Hmm.
Once forgiveness has been offered, so once you start to hit a point where we come to the reconciliation part, stop collecting evidence. Stop creating a case. Leave it in the courtroom and walk out.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do for some couples. And that is actually this part right here. You can go through all of those other steps, but if you can't leave it, it will never
Yeah.
be resolved
Well,
fully.
we'll just go biblical with it. What does God do?
Mm.
As Christians, we go to Father and just say, "Please forgive me," and then He'll turn around and go, "I don't know what you're talking about," because
Yeah.
He forgave and He forgets. He just throws it into the
Hmm.
the bottomless ocean, and it's
Yeah.
like, so we
Yeah.
need to do the same. That's what our Father does, our
Yeah.
Heavenly Father, and we need to do the same. If we need to step up and be uh, almost like be Jesus with it.
Mhm.
Be Jesus with the
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. Don't keep score.
Yeah.
Don't keep account.
Mm.
I do want to throw one thing in here as well, though, is I don't want anyone out there listening to hear us say that forgiveness is pretending something didn't happen. If real hurts are out there and real hurts happen, there's a guard that goes up, and there's sometimes that a protective wall goes up. And we're not talking about a protective wall. What we're talking about is a defensive wall.
Yeah.
Because if there's a deep wound or a deep hurt that happens in a relationship and you walk through these 4 steps with it,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean the situation or the conflict didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so that's
Yeah.
not what we're trying to say.
No. No.
What we are saying, though, is when you walk through the steps, the only way you can move forward is you have to be able to close the back door and walk through the front door
Yeah.
to move
That's
forward.
right. And you need to allow time for healing.
Hmm.
And everybody's slightly different with healing, but we need to allow it, to allow healing. And a lot of times it's time. I mean, time means something different in our world right now
Mm.
because everything is done in a split second. Our
Yeah.
expectations of everything to change and to whatever in seconds, but the human body is God created in a certain way in mind.
Mhm.
So, but let's give people time to heal
Yeah.
if there's been some deep
Yeah.
wounds.
Yeah. And
So,
it doesn't mean that they didn't happen, but don't use them as a weapon.
cool.
Don't
Yeah,
weaponize
thank you.
them.
That's a good one.
Rhythm number 4, laugh often together.
Hmm.
One of the saddest things that I think happens sometimes when couples get married is they forget that they're not just roommates, they're best friends.
Best friends.
This should be the person that you have the most fun with. We should have laughter together. We should enjoy doing life together.
Laughing at each other's,
Mhm. That's not usually hard
mistake
for
and
us.
stuff like that. Yeah, we laugh at each other all the time.
Yeah. Usually the culprit of this is schedules get so busy
Mm.
that we get so busy doing life, we forget to have fun in life.
Yeah.
And so I would actually say make sure you're intentionally scheduling that in. We schedule in paying bills. We schedule in our times that we have to be at work. We schedule in baseball games to go to with our kids. Make sure that you're scheduling in fun things that you and your
Yeah.
spouse enjoy doing
Yeah.
together, even if it's once
Yeah.
a week.
Yeah. Yep.
Do something that
Do
you have
something
fun
together.
together
Yeah.
doing. We love golfing together.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
something that we
We,
love
yeah.
to go and do.
And we have a lot of laughs, believe
Mhm.
me, especially when we're looking for the balls
Oh, yeah,
in the rough.
that's always a lot of
Yeah.
fun. But something that doesn't even cost money because it doesn't even have to be something big and extravagant. We love actually just going on a walk together and just
Yep.
talking.
Yep.
That actually accomplishes 2 rhythms
Yes.
in one if you put them together. So rhythm number 5, this is the final one.
Mm.
Pursue Christ together.
Hmm.
Pursue Christ
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Every other rhythm becomes stronger when this is present.
Goes
Uh,
back to the priorities.
yeah, yeah, the
Uh-huh.
priorities. Um, when we do everything and we pursue Christ, as our foundation. We had everybody when those are listening, I'm holding my hand up with the five because there's
Mhm.
five main relationships. And so it's when we pursue Christ, He's our foundation, and our first priority, then our spouse, then our children, our career, and all the extracurricular activity
Mhm.
and stuff. But it's maintaining that we both have, making sure, holding each other accountable, the foundation. Maybe there's an earthquake in the relationship or something happened,
Mhm.
and but let's help each other repair our
Yeah.
foundations, reminding or praying for each other, helping each other in the pursuit that for God first.
Mhm.
Because once God's first, then the healing can come and He can come and help, and the Holy Spirit's really involved in our lives. So
Yeah.
we need to make sure
I-
we pursue Christ first before anything
Yeah.
else.
I think one of the mistakes, I know for me, this was a barrier, and it may be for other people, maybe not. For me, it was like, okay, I know we need to do devotions together. We need to spend time in the Word together. We need to pray together. But honestly, it was hard to think of how to find all of that time in our schedules. And I remember thinking, like, well, devotion should be about 30 minutes to an hour. We need to be in the Word together. And what would happen is we would start off and we would do it for a little while, and then it would last
Yeah,
for, a week or two, and then it was done.
yeah,
We really had to refine that because it has to be a sustainable rhythm. The
yeah,
only way for something to become a rhythm is to become
yeah,
sustainable. So we actually found a rhythm on how we really engage in our time with the Lord together.
yeah,
And it's a
yeah.
little different than
It's
most people do.
a little different because Shelley's right. It's kind of like when you all of a sudden you get excited January 1st and we're all going to go to the gym,
Yeah.
and start working
Yeah.
out. And 30 days later, you find out you skipped a day or two. But so you have to find your rhythm. You have to find the right time for both of you all, for
Mhm.
everybody. But anyways, for us, we found out, and you might just laugh,
Mhm.
but it is so valuable. And we have shared it with, I can't tell you how many
Yeah.
couples,
Yeah.
and they start doing the same thing. There's Shelley, ladies, it takes you a long time to get ready in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got all these levels. You got all these things to do with your hair and your makeup and then your clothes, and all of a sudden you didn't like that. So you're on your second,
Okay.
third.
Let's not tell all the
Oh,
things.
okay. So there's all these things. But guys, it takes us a couple of minutes to get ready, shower,
Yeah. It's not
brush your teeth,
unfair.
comb your hair, and we're done. So we actually do our devotions first thing in the
Hmm.
morning when actually we're both in the bathroom.
Hmm.
That's when we do
Yeah.
our devotions,
Yeah.
I mean, she's standing there curling her hair, doing her makeup stuff. So, guys, I mean, I took the responsibility and actually we made a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
But we have devotions. I sit on the edge of the bathtub,
Hmm.
I got to, put some towels there and make it nice and cushioned. But we do our devotions. We
Yeah.
open the Bible, we read whatever we're reading for that day and
We
stuff, and
talk about
we
it.
talk about it,
Mhm.
discuss it, and then we go into prayer time. And so no matter what you're doing in the bathroom,
Yeah.
wherever you're in the bathroom, just continue that devotional, and then we end in
Yeah.
prayer. And we'll talk about this later on, but prayer, make it a two-way prayer. When
Hmm.
you hear your spouse praying, things, you understand her heart. She understands the man's heart better and better.
Hmm.
So pray. Well, usually Shelley opens and I'll close and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but that's when we do our devotions.
Yep. So
So
even if you think about it as just, spend 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes
yeah,
in the Word, talk about it a little bit, and then pray together. You
yeah,
could be talking less than 10 to 15 minutes of your day,
yep,
but it's a significant time that will create a significant rhythm and connection for
yeah,
you.
yep,
So here's the thing. We've given you 5 rhythms. Don't try to change everything this week. What I would say is choose one of those rhythms, the pursue, the meaningful conversations, the repair before resentment, the laugh often, or growing forward together in Christ. Choose one of those and spend a couple of weeks doing that.
yep.
Build a rhythm. Once you've got that rhythm down, keep doing that and then add another rhythm in. Don't try and accomplish it all at once. create a rhythm.
Yeah, for momentum, because we're
Mm.
still talking about momentum.
Yep.
Remember the swing set,
Yeah. We want to make
with
sure
our
that, yeah.
granddaughter swinging with power and stuff and everything. So we're going to keep the rhythm
Yeah.
like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Every week, we leave you with a stone.
Mhm.
And let me explain again for those that just joined us. When we talk about a stone, we actually have a rock, a smooth rock on our desk here that we call the David stone, Boy David, and that he used against Goliath and conquered Goliath. We all have giants in our
Mhm.
life. And so we want to leave you every week with a stone that can assist you, help you
Yeah.
with the giants in your life to take them out.
Mhm.
Uh, so here's this week's stone. Momentum isn't maintained by big moments.
Mhm.
It's built through small, intentional choices made consistently over time.
Yeah. Yeah. So don't wait for your marriage to come to a stop before you give it another push. Send a text, ask a question, say, I'm sorry, pray together, go
Yeah,
have fun together,
yeah,
choose each other
yeah,
because healthy marriages don't happen by accident.
yeah.
They grow by that one intentional push
Yeah, so
at a
this,
time.
yeah, and if you let like the swing set thing, you got to take more energy, more time, more
Yep.
everything to get the swing going
Yeah.
again. But if you just, it's just a slight push to
Yep.
keep it going. If it's still, if it's swinging back and forth.
Yeah. If this conversation has encouraged you, we'd love to have you share it with other couples. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast and visit kragerministries.com for more information and parenting resources. Thanks so much for joining us
Thank
today on
you.
Simply Relational.
Yeah, thank you so much, and God bless you.
Have a great day.